And hello, I'm Richard Hooper, and this is SatTV Week. Now, I'm pleased to be joined by Dave Provencher of AvL Technologies. Dave, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Richard, how are you? Good to see you again.
Dave, we're out here at Singapore. There's a lot of talk about disruption in the market, particularly from Starlink. What's your impression?
Well, there's no question about it. It's a huge disruption, right? So recently I went to Japan and I went to CabSat in the Middle East, came directly here. So I kind of have a feel for this whole half of the world. And kind of depends on where you are. Here in Asia, Starlink is spreading like wildfire. Like Indonesia just got licensed this week. And and they announced they did $6.5 billion in revenue last year. So that's big. That's coming from somewhere. And it's coming from operators, antenna companies like us. So it's definitely made a big deal to the industry.
So everybody's worried about it. They see it as a threat. Why didn't they see this coming?
Well, actually, we did see it coming, but we just didn't know it was going to be as disruptive as it is, I think. But really what it's done is caused the industry to get a lot more innovative and creative and how to keep our businesses growing, which AvL is doing a pretty good job of. By the way, it's AvL's 30th anniversary this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so we've been doing it, and we're still growing. What has caused us to do, the disruption is everywhere. Like you see Eutelsat, OneWeb getting together, and SES with mPOWER, taking over, possibly acquiring Intelsat, and the Viasat and Inmarsat merging together. Inmarsat's doing a high Earth orbit system. So you see that, I think the Starlink has caused that consolidation in the operator business, but also in the earth station business, ground antennas. It's really caused us to adapt and become a lot more innovative.
So you say it's your 30th year that we've got this disruption. AvL has always been at the forefront of antenna technology. Mm-hmm. How do you keep that going?
Land mobile antennas.
Yeah, how do you keep that?
Well, if you look at the real leaders in the industry, like the new CEO of SES and some of the others, what they're doing is they're adding multiple layers to their network, whether it's their constellation or not. So if you look at SES, they've got a multitude of geo antennas, and then they've got the medium Earth orbit with mPOWER, and then they're partnering with lots of low Earth orbit companies. So you get this global network with lots of resiliency. So multiple reach back methods, and of course the disruptions that. Just a few years ago, defense companies or defense industry, they had maybe a nice local area network of users, one reach back method, but you can't do that anymore, right? So you got to have multiple ways to reach back to keep your users connected all the time, because one reach back method may not be available. You got to be able to quickly and easily switch to another. So that's for us, that's a multi-orbit, multi-band antenna, and that's where we're headed.
So, occasionally, we've been with you and we've seen your antennas on the stands and everything else. Is there still a lot of demand for the mobile backpack antenna, or is something changing, or is it just the broad spectrum of antenna?
Well, the ESAs, the electronic antennas, they've made a big impact in the market as well. All right, so they're small antennas, easy to move, SATCOM on the move, land, sea, air. They've also made a big impact on the market. But they all have one thing in common: they're very low in gain. Right, so you can design a really nice electronic antenna for a LEO or even some GEO applications, but it really doesn't have any other applications. Maybe there's one or two companies saying they're going to be multi-orbit, multi-band, but we haven't seen that come to fruition yet in the market. So, but AvL's really, we build parabolas, which is kind of the old-fashioned way, but there's no antenna more efficient than a parabola. So we're all about gain, right? So we can use a traditional parabola but we can access a LEO, a MEO, and a GEO with the same antenna. With the proper tracking techniques, acquisition and tracking techniques, you can use one antenna for multi-orbits. I've got a couple examples here. So this particular antenna was designed specifically for SES's mPOWER network, all right? It's a big antenna, 2.4 meter. But with this, on mPOWER, you can get up close to a terabit in data, right? Hundreds of megabits or gigabits, and you can with a terminal like that. So that kind of throughput is very attractive to some customers, mostly government customers.
Yeah.
But we use the same technology that we developed for these tracking antennas. We're now putting that in all of our antennas, including this one, which has been in the market for a long time. So you can take these antennas are MEO and GEO. This one is MEO, LEO, GEO, right? And you can easily and quickly change the frequency band, change the feed, change the frequency band, reprogram it. Then you're off to another orbit at another frequency band. So that's where we're going with technology in the future.
So finally, AvL always at the forefront of technology. What's the future hold for AvL? What are you looking at next?
More of the same. Just, you just have to, you have to provide resiliency for the networks, for the end users, their network. So we have to be orbit and network agnostic, right? So you can use our antennas just about anywhere in the world and just about any constellation. So that's where we're going.
Dave, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Richard.